Have you ever been told you think too much about everything? That you're overly sensitive or just stuck inside your own head, unable to let go? Maybe you've even heard phrases like, stop over. This phenomenon is called hypervigilance, a heightened state of awareness and alertness that often develops as a response to trauma or prolonged stress. It's like your mind and body are on high alert, always scanning for danger, ready to react even when there is no immediate threat. It might feel exhausting, confusing, or even frustrating, but understanding hypervigilance can change everything. It helps explain why you might feel trapped in your thoughts, always worried or on edge even when others can. In this video, we're going to explore what hypervigilance really is, why it happens, and how you can begin to work with it instead of fighting against it. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your own mind, this video is for you. Hypervigilance is more than just feeling a little anxious or nervous from time to time. It means being in a near-constant state of heightened alertness, where your brain is always on the lookout for danger, whether the threat is real or imagined. Imagine walking through a forest where your senses are tuned to every sound, every shadow, every movement, ready to respond instantly to any sign of threat. Now, imagine that your brain treats everyday life like that forest, constantly scanning for danger even when there's none. When someone experiences hypervigilance, their nervous system is stuck in what experts call danger mode. This means the fight or flight response is triggered too often, and the brain keeps sending signals as if the person is constantly at risk. This can make even the smallest sounds or changes in the environment feel overwhelming or threatening. But hypervigilance isn't just a mental state, it's physical too. You might notice your heart racing, muscles tense, or feeling jumpy and irritable. Your body prepares to react, but often there's no clear reason why, and this can be exhausting over time. Understanding hypervigilance is crucial, because it's not about overthinking or being too sensitive. It's a real response that has roots in how our brain evolved to keep us safe. But when it sticks around too long, it can interfere with daily life, relationships, and overall well-being. To truly understand hypervigilance, we need to look at its root: survival. Our brains are wired to protect us from danger. When someone experiences trauma or prolonged stress, their brain learns to stay on constant alert as a way to keep them safe. Think about our ancient ancestors who faced real threats daily: wild animals, hostile environments, or rival tribes. Their survival depended on being aware of the slightest sound or movement. This constant scanning for danger was essential. Today, even though the threats we face might not be life-threatening, our brains sometimes get stuck in this danger mode. Hypervigilance becomes a learned response, a kind of automatic defense system. The brain is saying, be careful, something bad could happen, even when there is no immediate danger. While this might have been useful in the past, in modern life it often causes more harm than good. Living in this heightened state can drain your energy, increase anxiety, and make it difficult to focus or relax. Yet, it's important to remember that hypervigilance is not a choice. It's a survival mechanism that your brain developed to protect you from harm. Recognizing this can shift how you view your experiences. Instead of feeling broken or too much, you can start to see hypervigilance as your brain's way of trying to keep you safe, even if it's causing problems now. This understanding is the first step towards healing and learning to calm your mind. Living with hypervigilance isn't just a mental struggle, it affects nearly every aspect of your daily life. When your brain is constantly on high alert, even the simplest tasks can become overwhelming. You might notice that you're always tense, your muscles tight as if you're ready to react at any moment. Sleep can be elusive, with your mind racing or you waking up startled by the slightest noise. This exhaustion adds up, making it hard to focus at work or enjoy social situations. You may find yourself avoiding places or people because they trigger your sense of danger. Everyday environments that others see as safe may feel unpredictable or threatening. This can lead to isolation as you withdraw to protect yourself from feeling overwhelmed. Relationships can also suffer. Loved ones might not understand why you're constantly on edge or why you react strongly to small things. This can create tension and feelings of loneliness, as your experience feels invisible to others. But it's important to remember, this isn't a personal failing. Hypervigilance is a response to past trauma or stress, a brain wired to survive. Acknowledging how deeply it impacts your daily life is the first step toward finding strategies to manage it and reclaim your peace. Hypervigilance doesn't always look dramatic. In fact, some of the most powerful signs are invisible, hidden beneath the surface, masked by daily routines and misunderstood even by the person experiencing them. You might appear calm on the outside, but inside your mind is racing. You're tracking every movement in the room. Every noise, every shift in tone during a conversation, sets off a mental alarm. You analyze people's words repeatedly after they speak. You rehearse your reactions before they happen. You might avoid crowded places, but not just because you're shy. It's because your brain can't handle the constant influx of unpredictable stimuli. You cancel plans last minute, not out of laziness, but because your nervous system is overwhelmed and begging for rest. Some people label you as overthinker, sensitive, or even dramatic, when in truth, you are simply trying to survive in a world that feels unsafe. These hidden signs, tension, irritability, emotional exhaustion, jumpiness, are often dismissed or misunderstood, which makes the suffering even lonelier. That's why awareness matters. Naming what you're going through isn't weakness, it's the beginning of healing. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of hypervigilance is that many people who live with it don't even realize it has a name. They think it's just their personality, that they're too sensitive, too anxious, or just overthink everything. This is because hypervigilance often begins early, sometimes even in childhood, as a response to environments that were unpredictable, unsafe, or emotionally neglectful. Over time, the brain adapts. Staying alert becomes the norm, not the exception. And when something becomes your normal, you stop questioning it. For example, if you grew up in a home where yelling could happen at any moment, your brain learned to scan for signs of tension. If you experienced bullying, emotional neglect, or abandonment, your nervous system stayed on guard to prevent further pain. Years later, this response remains, even if your current life is much safer. Because society often dismisses mental health struggles, especially subtle ones, many people internalize the idea that their hyperawareness is a flaw or weakness. They blame themselves for being too much, or too paranoid, when in reality, their brain has simply learned to survive. That's why education and awareness are so powerful. Once you understand what hypervigilance really is, you can start to see yourself with compassion instead of criticism. And that shift can be the first step toward healing, boundaries, and true peace of mind. Hypervigilance is exhausting. And what makes it so damaging is that it often traps people in a silent, invisible cycle. One that drains them emotionally, physically, and mentally. It starts with a sense of danger, not always something obvious but subtle signals your nervous system picks up on. A change in tone. A shift in someone's facial expression. A memory triggered by a random sound. In that moment, your brain flips the switch into alert mode. You become more aware of your surroundings, your heart rate increases, your muscles tense. You might become more irritable, more jumpy, or feel the need to control every detail around you to feel safe. You can't relax, not fully. But that kind of constant vigilance burns energy. It wears you down. Sooner or later, the exhaustion sets in. You crash. You isolate. You feel emotionally numb or even depressed. But before your nervous system can fully recover, another perceived threat shows up, and the cycle begins again. This loop can continue for years, especially if you don't know it's happening. Many people blame themselves for feeling lazy or too tired, not realizing that their brain is spending every day running a survival marathon. Breaking the cycle begins with recognition. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are tired from carrying a mental load that no one else sees. And just naming that truth is an act of courage. Hypervigilance doesn't just affect your inner world, it touches every relationship you have, often in ways you don't realize. When you're constantly scanning for danger, it becomes hard to trust. Not just others, but yourself. You question people's intentions, reanalyze their words, and prepare for rejection before it even happens. You might seem cold, distant, or guarded, not because you don't care but because caring feels risky. In close relationships, this can show up as emotional detachment, excessive need for control, or even people-pleasing. You try to prevent conflict before it starts. You read between the lines obsessively. You take on responsibility for other people's moods, always trying to fix or manage situations that aren't even yours to carry. Sometimes partners, friends, or family may say things like, "You're always on edge," or "You're too sensitive." But what they don't see is that your brain is constantly preparing for betrayal, abandonment, or emotional harm, because it has experienced it before. You may also overthink text messages, become hyper-aware of tone changes, or need constant reassurance that things are okay. And yet, you may struggle to open up fully, fearing that vulnerability will be used against you. This kind of mental exhaustion makes intimacy feel unsafe. And unless someone truly understands the roots of this behavior, misunderstandings become common. The more misunderstood you feel, the more alone you become. But here's the truth, you are not too much. You are not broken. Your reactions are based on survival. And learning to recognize this pattern is the first step to building relationships based on real safety, not just protection. Your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a remembered one. To your nervous system, a raised voice, a sudden movement, or even silence can be a signal that danger is coming. That's the reality for people living in a state of hypervigilance. When your body is in fight or flight mode every day, your nervous system is stuck in survival. Your heart beats faster, your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles stay tense. You might clench your jaw, grind your teeth, or feel pain in your shoulders and neck without knowing why. This constant state of alert isn't just uncomfortable, it's damaging. Over time, it leads to chronic fatigue, digestive issues, insomnia, weakened immunity, and even memory problems. Because when your brain is always preparing to survive, it can't focus on thriving. What's worse is that many people don't connect these physical symptoms to their emotional history. They think they're just stressed or overworked, not realizing their body is responding to old wounds on repeat. This is why some people can never fully relax, not even on vacation, not even in silence. Their body is conditioned to expect chaos. Peace feels unfamiliar. Calm feels dangerous. And this confusion between safety and threat is what keeps the cycle alive. Recognizing this pattern is the beginning of healing. Your body is not the enemy, it has been your protector. But now, it's safe to teach it a new way to exist. One that includes rest, softness, and the radical idea that you don't always have to be on guard. Living with hypervigilance can feel like your mind is a storm you can never escape. But the good news is, there are tools and techniques that can help calm that storm and retrain your nervous system to feel safer. One of the most effective ways to begin is through breathing exercises. Deep, slow breaths activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural rest and digest mode, helping reduce the physical symptoms of stress. Mindfulness meditation is another powerful tool. It teaches you to observe your thoughts and sensations without judgment, breaking the cycle of constant alertness by anchoring you in the present moment. Grounding techniques, like focusing on the feel of your feet on the ground or the texture of an object in your hand, can bring your awareness away from the what-ifs and into the right now. Physical activity, especially gentle movement like yoga or walking in nature, helps release tension stored in your muscles and improves mood through endorphin release. Lastly, building safe and supportive relationships plays a crucial role. Feeling seen and understood by others can gradually train your brain that it's okay to lower its guard. Remember, progress takes time. Be patient and kind to yourself. Each small step you take is a victory on your path to healing. When your mind is always on high alert, it's easy to forget to care for yourself the way you truly need. But self-care is not just about indulgence or relaxation. It's a vital practice for healing and survival. Setting clear boundaries becomes a form of protection. Saying no to situations or people that drain your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. Your nervous system needs space to recover from constant stress. Autocuidado also means tuning into your body's signals. Are you feeling tense? Exhausted? Overwhelmed? These feelings are messages, not obstacles. Listening to them allows you to intervene before burnout takes over. Simple rituals like regular sleep schedules, nourishing meals, and gentle movement aren't luxuries, they are foundational acts of respect toward yourself. It's also important to recognize when professional help is needed. Therapy or counseling can provide safe space to process trauma and learn coping strategies tailored to your experience. Remember, protecting your mental and emotional health through self-care and boundaries is a radical act of love toward yourself, especially when your brain has been conditioned to expect danger. Recovery from hypervigilance isn't about an instant cure, it's about a journey. Every day, small steps forward create the path to a life where fear doesn't control your every move. Celebrate the little victories. A moment of calm, a night of restful sleep, saying no when you need to, or reaching out for support. These aren't just actions, they are signs of strength. The road can be challenging. You might face setbacks or moments when the past feels overwhelming again. That's part of the process, not a failure. Healing is non-linear. Building new habits takes time and patience. Whether it's practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, or learning to trust others again, each step rewires your brain to feel safer. Remember, you are not alone. Many have walked this path before you and found peace on the other side. Support groups, therapy, and loved ones can be powerful allies. Above all, be gentle with yourself. Your journey is uniquely yours, and every effort you make matters. Freedom from hypervigilance is possible. One day, one breath, one step at a time. If this video helped you understand hypervigilance better, please hit the like button and subscribe for more insights into the silent battles of the mind. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Share your story or questions in the comments below. Let's build a community where healing and understanding grow together. Take care of yourself one breath at a time.